what's good? As I look out my window on a sunny, blistery Midwest morning, left is out there on the left coast, looking real beachish, looking like as soon as I'm done with this podcast, I'm going to the beach. Lucky Lefty podcast. Brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. It is that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you're going to drink, by all means, make sure that you drink.
Responsibly.
You got to drink responsibly. We push back. Usually we do it on Mondays, but we push back to the future uh, to Tuesday because we wanted to talk about what happened on Sunday and some other things with James Laurinaitis leaving for Ohio State. Shout out to everybody that responds to us after the show. I love the interactions. You know, the guy, Cool Kid, who's an Ohio State fan. Like I said, I knew your statements were going to find a way to get to Ohio State fans. And he was upset. You called him Benedict Arnold, and he kind of took umbrage with that. But either way, I love it. I love it because I do. I I can't think of any individual that gets under the skin of Ohio State fans more than Malik Zaire. I,
Right.
I can't find one. Like what you do on a consistent basis, masterpiece. Because they don't even realize they're being trolled most of the time. Lucky Lefty Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, CFB Nation in conjunction with Irish Breakdown, all of our great content. Go, connect, follow, leave 5 stars, leave your messages. We greatly appreciate it. It's the Lucky Lefty Podcast. We spin it different. Left, this is not one of those days that you want a kid visiting Notre Dame, bro.
Mm. Not one of those days.
Nah, man. I wake up usually around 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I watch the local news. Usually check the weather, traffic. It's a habit, right? Because I was used to leaving out early, heading into the city. That's why I check the traffic. So now it's just habit. I just do it, bro. When they said it was 7 below, I was like, oh no,
Mm.
oh no. That's the type of stuff you hear, and like all your plans for the day immediately just get pushed to the side. Like,
That's right.
nah, we'll do that later in the week. So it's one of those days, man. But hopefully, right now, Matt Bayless has them in the Google. Let me tell you something, man. I'm gonna send you the link. So Deion Sanders always has everything viral when it comes to his program.
That's
His
right.
son Deion Sanders Jr. is over the social media and the video. They do a pretty good job of promoting the program, going back to when they were at Jackson State. So they posted video of one of their first workouts. Bruh, first of all, their team is small and they are not in shape, bruh.
They not in shape.
Man, it was some of the worst up downs, boy. If I can go watch, that was some of the worst up downs I've seen ever.
Yeah.
I mean, just using their knees to get up,
Well,
blowing the whistle, start it all over again.
you
Give
got
me
to start
10.
somewhere. That's what they all say.
I'm like, man. But I'm looking for the size. Like, wait a minute. This must just be strictly the defensive backs and wide receivers working out. 'Cause I don't see any offensive linemen. I don't see any defensive linemen. It might be a struggle in year one for
Might
Coach
be.
Prime. Just physically getting the team up to speed where they need to be able to compete. It might be a struggle, and then of course I expect him to do well from a recruiting standpoint in the years to come. But man, pray for your boy Shador. He's going. I don't know how much protection he's going to have this year left.
You don't think so?
I just don't know what that offensive line is going to look like, bro.
Well, the offensive line, I think, will be developed over time. He's definitely, uh, with good transfers, are not going to have to spend some time in the preseason, springtime, off season, finding the synergy. I think whenever you have a synergy, it gives you an opportunity to be a little better than what the talent may be. And so I think because of that, um, it'll be really good for Shador to experience what it would be like a rookie year in an NFL type of situation. Definitely better competition than what he's coming from the HBCU landscape, around a new environment, different kind of game styles, a little different than the Power Five. Being in a conference where it's good because now you get to be in a chance of playing against some of the other potentially top high drafted quarterbacks instead of or opposing to be in elite amongst a small pond of fish. So I think for him, it's similar to how I looked at my transfer year to Florida. The SEC is the closest thing you can get to the NFL, even though it's still a different game. Competition is a little different. The SEC is very highly talked about. You're going into a new team, new system, new environment. But the O line is definitely one of the key things that you want to really lock in on in terms of getting work in because you want to hit the ground rolling when you're in a new program, especially offensively. Because defensively, it doesn't take much time to get them going, especially D line and just how they work together because it's about pursuit and tackling. Offense is a lot more coordination and being on the same page.
So, for those of you just tapping in, we appreciate you. And you're saying, man, why are they talking prime in Colorado? Man, we're just prolonging, getting to this Marshall game.
Yeah, it was tough
This,
watching that.
I'm gonna, dude. Everyone points to Stanford. This, it's not even close. Left. I don't care how
It's
bad.
not close.
I don't
It's
care
not
how
close.
bad they played against Stanford. This game was the worst.
It
This
was.
game was the absolute worst. Let me tell you something, man. I could throw around all the expletives, the defensive backfield that they have, all of that. Marshall was trash, dude. And not trash to the extent of not competitive, but just trash to the standpoint of there's no way they should have even been in the game in the fourth quarter. Right? Look, this was the game. It wasn't even about Notre Dame not being prepared.
It wasn't. It wasn't. Because
This
how do you prepare for a team you're better than?
dude, you know who the best this is what confused me. You know who the best player on the field for Notre Dame was that day?
Who?
Lorenzo Styles Jr.
You thought so?
This dude, are you kidding me? Go watch the first half. This dude was getting open in the slot. This dude was running in and rounds for 20 yards. This dude was catching balls in the flats on rollouts and play action. This dude, get him the ball. Get him the ball. Like you watch this game, I don't know what happened after the Marshall game, but watching Marshall, there's no way Lorenzo Styles should not have had at least 50 receptions. Watching
There's
that
no
Lorenzo
way.
Styles Jr. If you go watch the Marshall game, you're easily going to say, okay, he's going to end up with 50 receptions. Easy.
Oh, oh, for sure. For
Easy.
sure. But I mean, it was shadowed by the fact that Tyler Buckner's workload throughout the game took away from what could have been a connection that could have started something really special between Tyler Buckner and Lorenzo Styles. Because Tyler Buckner is putting all the weight on what he has to do to get the ball down the field each play. Like you said, Styles may have been open, was winning his one on ones, but the offense wasn't sitting around Lorenzo Styles, sitting around Michael Mayer. And I
Yeah.
think when it's so focused on Michael Mayer and Tyler Buckner running the football himself or handing it off, you're going to miss some of those early and often connections that I think it would be much more loose this year for both quarterbacks, Tyler Buckner and Sam Hartman, to go in there and be able to dispense the football. Like when I played in the short time that I did, each game I played, it was 7+ receivers touching the ball. Texas game, 7+ receivers. Virginia game, we was about 5 or 6 different receivers touching the football. That's the mark of a good offense because it's everybody executing and you're taking advantage of the talent you recruited. That was the best part about what we did 2015 is that you got to see what our recruited looked like.
Yeah.
You got to see the running back room get their touches. You got to see what the receiver room look like. You got to see what the
Yeah.
tight ends look like. And then you can evaluate a team and be like, oh, they're serious. Because everybody had their moments in time on offense where it's like, man, Will Fuller, he flashing. Oh, there goes CJ and Josh Adams, and there they go. O line holding it down. Oh, there go Chris Brown one game. Oh, Amir flashes. Oh, Torrey Hunter's there. Corey Robinson's Corey Robinson. And then you got Daryl. We were able to highlight a lot of guys in different ways. CJ Sanders too, but that's what you want to be at. And I think this offense can be close to that because you have a guy like Sam Hartman and the experience of a Tyler Buckner who are competing, but they're also being able to have the ability and the talent to spread the ball. And I think once we do that, things like Marshall happen only when you don't have an identity and you don't trust the talent that you have around
Having a talented roster is one thing, but having a team is another. Notre Dame, it took Notre Dame 2.5, 3 games to actually become a team. And when I tell you watching this game, anything that can and will happen, you stay out west. They say it's something about when the Santa Ana winds come through in California, expect some weird stuff to happen. Like some strange wind had to come through Notre Dame Stadium, right? Because we Notre Dame was in Marshall territory. Because this most people would tell you Notre Dame didn't move the ball. That's the biggest fallacy of the world. If
them.
you go Notre Dame moved the ball, they were in Marshall territory the entire first half, dude.
No different than Ohio State.
Had opportunities. Look, we already know about the pass that he missed Braden Lindsey right before.
But that
Second,
that could have made the difference the whole game too. I know
dude,
it's like a lot of plays can make a game different, but those plays like that, touchdown before half where everybody can calm down
that's
and
that's
get back together.
left. That's not even it. Nope. Second series, this cat Braden Lindsey runs a post route.
Oh, is that the one he dropped or something like that?
Dude, it was behind him.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
If he leads him like he did in the Gator Bowl, it's a
You
touchdown.
got something. You got something.
He throws it behind him. He has to slow down,
And
jump, and
hazmat.
try and make a contested catch against the safety, and he knocks it away. I mean, the touchdown's right there. The big plays right there. They're basically at midfield. They had moved the ball to midfield. It's right there. It's right there. Lorenzo Styles was seven catches, 69 yards. Michael Mayer was 8 for 103. Lorenzo Styles had a run on the end around for 22 yards. Like, yo, Lorenzo Styles was making plays. And Lorenzo Styles slipped on 2 plays that he probably would have made catches.
Yeah.
It's it was frustrating, right? And then on the no, that was on the first one of the first another drive in the first half. They literally run a fake counter to the right. They pull the guard to the right, and then the tight end comes back around. They show run to the right action, but they pull the tight end Kevin Bauman around to lead block for Tyler. It's Kevin Bauman, one defender. Tyler slips and falls. Like it's literally like
Because
a
he was
touchdown.
running too hard, man. I'm like, Tyler, just slow the game out, man.
It's like you go
Just
watch this
slow
first
it.
half and you're saying to yourself, like, oh man.
Like, do you think that I just don't think in that game I really believe the whole maturity thing comes into play. That was a very veteran team. Quarterback was veteran.
Yes.
Truthfully, had a better quarterback room than we did at that point, or uh, more known about the room because we were still out on Tyler. at that point. I mean, second game at the Ohio State game, you can't really, you're like, yeah, you did some good things. We don't really know yet. Veteran experience is crazy. I think that it kind of fit into the mode of how, like, a team like Loyola basketball, bunch of seniors, fifth year guys, make a deep run in the tournament
Mm,
against teams that are these high flying young teams, a lot of talent, but them teams with experience that are older that may not be as talented, they can just play well. And that day, obviously mix that in with the fact that they probably thought this was the game. Didn't they get to do the Gatorade bath in week 2? They gave the dude a Gatorade bath. So this wasn't no regular game for Marshall, considering they celebrated too early. Got, forgot they
look,
had a whole conference play
look.
and became trash.
Marshall didn't play as well as we thought they did. They
The
didn't.
quarterback was damn near
Columbia was
perfect.
awful in the first. No, he was bad early on. He was
What
missing
are you like
passes.
5 for 5 in the first 2 drives?
No. First drive, this dude overthrew a slant,
Oh yeah,
threw
yeah, yeah.
another one in the dirt. Early, he was terrible. He was terrible. Like offensively, this is another thing, because I remember after that game being upset with the Notre Dame defense. In totality, what do you want them to do? You gave them, dude, the Notre Dame offense gave them 3 short fields and
Mm,
gave them 6 points on a pick 6.
mm.
So they basically got the majority. You kept asking the Notre Dame defense to rise up on short fields, right? Then when Notre Dame takes the lead, this is when I got irritated. Notre Dame takes the lead in the first play of the fourth quarter. They they kick off, get the stop, right? Get the ball back to the offense at like the 40. The offense is moving. You get a 2nd and 3. Here's your captain out of a timeout. False start.
Oh yeah, you was
Here
hot
we go.
about that. You
Here
was
we
hot
go.
about that. You
Game
was
is
hot about
basically
that.
over. We're driving to end this. It's like 10 minutes left in the game, 9 minutes. This is a wrap.
Yeah, you wasn't having
This is
that.
a wrap.
That brother.
This is a wrap. And really what saved Marshall in that situation, Notre Dame was getting ready to go up tempo. Because what had happened is Marshall had got worn down a little bit. And it was strange because Notre Dame had Chris Tyree in the backfield. Because Chris Tyree had just converted like a short down situation for a first down. They were getting ready to go up tempo. One of the Marshall players got injured. They had to call timeout. Then they come back after the timeout. 2nd and 3. Now 2nd and 8. And pretty much from there, you still feel good because you pin them back on the 6-yard line. You stop the first down run by Laban for 2 yards. Riley Mills makes a fantastic play on 2nd down for a negative gain. And then they basically run a basic, this is like high school football. Fake, roll, bring the tight end across to basically just say, man, here, we just want to get some more room for the punter. Ramon Henderson is man-to-man coming across with the dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was doing. Maris Leofow has edge containment. He runs to the other side, chasing the running back. Like your job is to contain the quarterback and set the edge. He does neither. And the next thing you know, they go on a touchdown drive and then get the pick 6. And it's just, dude, Notre Dame, as bad as they played, had the opportunity to, and this is for the first 2 games. You can't tell me this team didn't have a chance against Ohio State and Marshall to close the game. They had an opportunity in the third quarter against Ohio State to go up double digits.
Mm.
Didn't do it.
Didn't do it.
Had an opportunity to step on Marshall's neck. In the first half, they should have been up 14-0. Miss Lindsay, that's a touchdown. Wide open. Miss Lindsay, touchdown. You come back on the second drive. Missed opportunities. Come back on the third drive. You're moving the ball. First down throw. Abraham picks it off. Like, I don't know why Tommy is still letting this dude throw outs to the back. Stop. That's not his game.
Not his game.
That's not his game. I don't know what it is that he gives it away. If his release is not quick enough, whatever. Arm not strong enough. It's not his game. They asked a lot of Tyler Buckner, bro.
They
In the
did. That's
first
what.
2 weeks.
And I told you that's just
He
how the
was spot on with that.
offense is kind of set up that way to where you're the ultimate driver of the offense, and for a first year guy
Yeah.
that has his moments, that's still trying to find his own identity playing, what his strengths and weaknesses are, as well as the coaches trying to find those strengths and weaknesses of Tyler in game. The way Tommy runs it, he's thinking you him with all the experience and wealth of knowledge. So
Mm-hmm.
being able to handle the, how you say, the quantity of what you're asked to do can be tough when you're still trying to get polished and be technically sound and know everything and this, that, and the third. So even the basic plays can become a lot when you have to read option one play because you can run, but the read gives you the ball where you have to run. So now you're making a play downfield, you get tackled, you get up, you got to run, hurry up, or some form of it because that's the style. Go back, you may have to throw a pass. Now you huffing and puffing, you breathing hard. Now the little things are hard. You overthrowing bubble routes and you
Mm-hmm.
missing hitches, and then if the play breaks down, now you scrambling and running around. So you're the driver of an offense that asks you to do a lot, especially when you're heavily involved in the run game. So it's different than Drew Pine, where Drew Pine's only running when everything else isn't working. And I think that's the most success you can have
Mm-hmm.
with that type of offense that you're required to have. You look at an offense like the Eagles with Jalen Hurts. Yeah, he runs, but they support that with the different styles of offense, with the RPOs, with having a strong running game, relying on the talent around him. Where when he runs, it's at the right time. It's not to start the momentum of a drive.
So we were upset because we felt like the defense didn't play well. And the defense really had 4 bad plays, right? Allowing that big run on that last touchdown drive to Laban, not getting them off the field on that third down, 2 plays before that play,
Yep.
when they tried to throw the double pass and you let the wide receiver run for 30 yards down the sideline, right? And that's Benjamin Morrison not being able to get off a block,
Yeah.
just being a little bit small and not as strong. I don't think he'll have that problem. I don't know if you saw the picture they put up yesterday on the Twitter page for the workout warriors. That cat Benji is cut up. He's been in the weight room, bro. He's been putting in
Man,
some
them
work.
DBs usually be the freakiest player type bodies because they're
So
almost built like soccer players.
yeah, he's definitely putting in work. So shout out to him. I think it was him, Zeke Carell, and I forget the other uh, young man. But shout out to all 3 of them. The defense did not play as bad. Like we were really upset. Defense collectively did not play as bad because
Well, they play
honestly, they
bad.
only
They
gave
play
up
bad because
12
you're
points.
expecting you're expecting them to play at a level where Marshall is just there for the check. We didn't play bad if Marshall was a Power Five, SEC school that
Hmm.
is usually pretty solid, but they gave us a good run today. This is a Sun Belt team that finished bottom 500.
No, they did. They were 8-4, dog.
At 8-4. I thought they was like last in the Sun Belt at a time.
No, they were 8-4 this year.
Oh,
They
well,
ended up being pretty good team for the
I
Sun
thought didn't
Belt.
they have a slide? They would like they lost 3 straight games after our game or something like that.
No, I remember they went and lost to somebody in the. I want to say it was Central Michigan. It was somebody weird. Dude. They
Mm,
lost two on a Thursday night.
mm.
It was
So
somebody weird they
anyway,
lost to.
I
Yeah,
do
they were
think that
9-4, 9-4, 5-3 in the Sun Belt, bro. Who
five
was
and
it?
three in the Sun Belt. Yeah, they had some slide at one point.
Bowling Green. That's who they lost to. Like they beat us and then literally went and lost to Bowling Green the next week.
Bowling freaking Green. Charlie freaking John. He might get drafted pretty tough. What do you think? Charlie Jones on your draft board 2023?
Charlie Jones is definitely going to get drafted. Oh, absolutely.
We'll see him in Indy.
Absolutely. Fourth round. He'll be a fourth rounder,
He'll be like Austin Collie.
which, he's probably free agent undrafted if he stays at Iowa.
You think he'll be undrafted?
If he had stayed with Iowa with their quarterbacks this year, oh
Oh,
heck
if he
yeah.
stay with Iowa, yeah. He'll be
Yeah.
undrafted.
He'd have been undrafted. So he made the right business decision. Lucky Lefty podcast. Apple Podcast, Spotify, CB Nation, Irish Breakdown. We spin it different. So we talk about this game to go to the future. That's why we do this segment, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did we see? Notre Dame struggled, and I think this is going to continue to be what we see as the season went on. Notre Dame, especially interior wise, likes to penetrate, so they are susceptible to cutback runners. It wasn't like Laban was they just schematically just ran something. Laban was cutting back. And this goes to, once again, the linebackers just not having discipline, man. Just the integrity to come down, be in the right lane, stay in the right lane, and wait for the play to come to you. Guys either flow to the ball, overflow, or either don't flow quick enough. It was like, here's a whole backside right in between Foskey. Like Foskey's just a hair away from being able to make a play, but he's doing his job, setting the edge. And because the linebackers flow too much, it leaves a gap, and now the cutback's there, and Laban's out the back door and making plays. It was frustrating. It was the same thing we saw in the fourth quarter with Mayan Williams against Ohio State. And this year, the linebacking core should be better.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a problem, right? This year, I think you see Ramon Henderson. They were the most successful, even though Ramon Henderson, for some reason, just left his responsibility on that third down conversion late in the fourth quarter. They played their best because their adjustment was to get Ramon Henderson closer to the line of scrimmage, and they used him to blitz a lot, whether it's off the edge or inside. He was the one that was wrecking havoc. He's been the one consistently that has shown that he has the best timing when it comes to blitzing up the middle. That's something that you're going to have to use. And him and Xavier Watts, along with Thomas Harper, they can be a really good trio. I think the safety position is going to be upgraded from what we've seen in the past. That doesn't mean that they're about to be superstars, but it's definitely going to be much better, more athletic, and rangier than they've been. And then DJ Brown is going to be what? A backup at this
Yeah.
point.
At this point.
At this point. And that's what you project. So I think this game showed, in my opinion, Notre Dame wasn't ready to be a good team because good teams win this game. And really good teams win this game.
Yeah.
right? They win this game. Someone said it yesterday. I think it was Herm Edwards. I think it's his phrase. When he said, "Good teams are coach driven. Great teams are player driven." And I
Mm.
think at some point, this Notre Dame program has to go beyond Marcus Freeman being the face of the program.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I'm saying, Lev? That's the next step to them being great. That's in recruiting and that's on the field, right? Because this is a game. Well, the players should have been able to talk to each other in the fourth quarter and say, "Yo, Jared Patterson should have been the one coming out of that timeout, telling everybody else, yo, let's lock in and finish these dudes. Focus." And he comes out of the timeout and gets a false start. And then in the post game, he's throwing his helmet, not even want to take part in the alma mater. It's like, really?
Really?
That's that's where our heads are at. This just goes to show, man, that they had all the makings to be a good team or a better team than the record showed, but they weren't a team. They weren't a team, and they're a coach-driven team and a coach-driven program right now. That's what they are.
Yeah, you can
They're
only ride
coach.
that success for so long just because Marcus Freeman can't be out there tackling nobody.
Mm,
So it's important to realize how important the recruiting classes are and
mm-hmm,
identifying who the screen popper X factors are and that franchise quarterback because that's going to carry on that message that Marcus Freeman is set forth in a program that wants to get two more games better. You
mm-hmm,
look at Lou Holtz, great, phenomenal coach, but there's a list of players you can name after that Lou Holtz coach that played a part in carrying that message on the field that led to championships. Guys that are remembered damn near forever. So Marcus Freeman needs those players. He needs another guy like Kyle Hamilton. He needs another guy like a Jalen Sneed to come on impact
mm-hmm,
so he can put his stamp on it. He needs a Kenny Minchie, a Carr to be his stamp quarterback to carry on that physicality message that Tyler Buckner needs to carry on, Sam Harden needs to carry on. Because that way, then it becomes autopilot. Look at Nick Saban, Will Anderson, and Bryce Young, the best two college football players in the country,
yeah,
represent the best football coach, arguably every year. That's who he get to talking. He like,
yeah,
yeah, don't let me get started on this NIL. You know how I can get the best players on both sides of the football with this NIL stuff. Don't let me start it.
yeah,
I'm producing the best two players in college football damn near every year. Offense and defense, you want my two guys. Marcus Freeman, who is Marcus Freeman's two guys on his team? Falski and who's offense?
mm,
Who represents Marcus Freeman on the field? I know the team and the Irish and all that, but do we have the two best players in the country? Falski's Marcus Freeman's defensive representative. He's the best player on the defense.
yeah, yeah,
Drew Pine is the offensive representative of Marcus Freeman. That's what Marcus Freeman set forth for the program moving forward toward championship is Drew Pine?
yeah,
Absolutely not.
yeah,
Not that he doesn't like Drew Pine, but Drew Pine's not the best in the country that Marcus Freeman wants to get us to. Isaiah Fowski, you can argue that that's you warming up, you on the right track, but get you a Will Anderson, get you a first round pick.
yeah,
Kirby Smart rolling in there with all type of one and twos. He got Stetson, he got Jalen Carter, both getting drafted, both considered one of the best. And then he's got a number one pick he can roll out there. That's why they won the championship. His representation of the best on the team is championship level. That's what Marcus Freeman needs. He wants to get over that hump, and I think he can. He's recruiting at a high level in areas that we are solid at, areas that we can get better at as well. And I think what we can appreciate as a fan base is that he's not. I personally feel like he's in a way listening to the fan base. The fan base has an ear to what we see, and what we see and have complaints about. I feel like Marcus Freeman is addressing them in his own ways because he sees the same thing we see. Usually, we arguing with ourselves about the coaching staff even seeing the issue. That's a whole nother thing. But I really like what Marcus Freeman is focusing on uh, at, throughout all the adversity. Just imagine trying to run a program and rival programs are plotting against you, and you're not even considered the best program. So you on your way to the top, you got the top knocking on your door. So he must be doing something right, and you can appreciate that. That's why I do believe games like Marshall are not going to be in the near future or the future in general for a Marcus Freeman led team because he's going to have guys with that understanding and that vision that this is for real. We out here really trying to make this thing happen. And so it's important that these guys coming in, I think we're 10 guys over scholarship. Somebody's going to have to go. Somebody's going to have to do that transfer portal. I think the spring is a great opportunity to kind of get your own version of the Hunger Games in there.
Yeah, yeah. I
Only
think
the
that
strongest can survive.
yeah, Lucky Lefty podcast. Back to the Future, Marshall. What went wrong? What does it mean for 2023 and the Fighting Irish? I feel good about Lorenzo Styles Jr. Because you watch the game and you say the ability's there. Like it had to be something mental that he was dealing with. Maybe his usage once Tyler got hurt changed, right? Because obviously he was Tyler's guy. Like Tyler was going to him and
Yeah,
Michael Mayer. And then Tyler gets hurt at the end of the Marshall game. Now you get an even more experienced quarterback and Sam Hartman. Now he feels better because it's like, okay, Sam Hartman and Tyler.
yeah,
He plays with more confidence. He returns back to his early season level. Well, he only had one catch. He had the one big play against Ohio State. But he came out and they targeted him 11 times. Like I said, 7 for 69. And then he ends up, having an end around for 22. They were finding ways to get him the ball. And that's what we felt like, and that's what we anticipate him being this year. A guy within the offense that you find different ways to get the ball. Now that you don't have Michael Mayer, Jaden Thomas becomes that third down interior guy that you can get, depend on to make big clutch plays, move the sticks, and things of that nature. Now, who's going to take the top off the defense? Tobias Merriweather, some of the freshmen, Deion Colsey, who was one of Drew Pine's favorite targets. Now we start to see that there is ability in the wide receiver room. Like there's talent in the wide receiver room. I don't know if the onus is going to be more on the quarterbacks or Tommy Reese. So there are no more excuses. Like, dude, quarterback play, I don't anticipate quarterback play being the same excuse that it was early in the season or for the majority of the season in 2022 and 2023. So as you forecast that, this offense is strictly going to be about execution, right? So it's going to be pressure on Harry Heastand, in my opinion, from game one. Because this offensive line, whether it was Blake Fisher missing, they had a big play to Aldrich Estime, right? Marshall comes down, they blitz off the slot to the left from the backside, but Notre Dame pretty much calls a great play. They pull, they get out in front. All Blake Fisher has to do is seal the defensive end on the inside. Aldrich Estime is bam to the outside, probably for a 10-yard gain. He just lets the defensive end come right inside of him
mm,
and just blows up the play. It was just Like the plays were there. So we can look at that play and say, man, Tommy, what are you calling? The play was there to be
It was
made.
there.
It was there to go for a big gain if everyone did their job. So now the offensive line, with three of the starters returning, I'm sorry, I put up four, but three of the starters returning, they have to dominate from game one. They have to dominate from game one. They have to be ready to go right out the gate. That running game has to be ready to go right out the gate, right? Because the passing game, to us, maybe not to them, because they're the ones practicing in the spring and in the fall. To us, the passing game is unknown.
Yeah, the pass game is definitely unknown from a standpoint of who's going to be the guy. And what are we going to do without Michael Mayer for a season, not just for a game?
Mm-hmm.
And I think over time is going to
Yeah.
reveal itself over time how guys step up periodically throughout the season. I think there's like our guys said, it's the guys are hungry, and there's no mistaking that. And when guys are hungry and guys like that know that they need to step up as a unit, not just individually, I think it means more. You saw an example of a room stepping up, and you can look towards a running back room. Because in the Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma State, we was like, man, we might need some new running backs. And what they all do, they all ran to Twitter, talked about how, on they mama, on their grandma, they're gonna be the best ever. And they had a better season the next year. They put it on moms and grandmoms. They said they had aspirations to win the Doak Walker and the Heisman and championships. So we got to see them step up to the plate, which we was excited about, even though we was like, you can say it, you got to go out there and do it. And I think they took on that challenge. You got to see it throughout all season. I think Aldridge had a great season. He's a foundational piece. I think Logan came on as a foundational piece at the end of the season, making impacts the way he did, and then being able to defensively hold out year in and year out. I think it really makes a lot of change going in next year.
One of the things that showed in this game is Al Golden's ability to adjust at halftime. Until that last drive when Abe Laburn got the last touchdown drive for Marshall, where Laburn got that big run, they had done a pretty good job. Like I said, they moved Ramon Henderson down into the box. And what they started to do is they started to bring the linebackers over the top of the stunts and the shifts of the defensive line, which pretty much just activated them. Like there was no guessing, there was no reacting. This is what you're doing. You're flowing this way. Ramon, you come in and clean up. This is your responsibility because they were running RPO, but Columbia wasn't a huge threat to pull the ball and run. He had a couple of runs in the game. He was mostly, his accuracy was okay. He made a great throw, the Gamage,
Mm.
for a touchdown that got called back for 4 minute, 5 minutes in the backfield. And that was probably the best throw of the day that he made. They didn't ask him to do too much. It was
Mm.
just really simple throws to the slot, slants. Um, they ran some slot fades, and then he was throwing to the flats. They didn't ask him to do too much. This is why I said, look, Marshall did not do. They didn't come in and just go crazy and do things and just have Notre Dame's defense on his heels. That's not what happened, man. They took advantage of short field opportunities that they had, right? And then they took advantage of the turnovers and Notre Dame giving them 7 points, via
Yeah.
pick six. So that's what they did. That's what they did. And you tip your cap for them not being overwhelmed in the situation, which goes to in 2023, especially with the early slate schedule. Notre Dame has to overwhelm these teams.
Yes.
They,
No,
they
you have
need
to
to,
overwhelm
man,
teams.
they need to overwhelm this early schedule, just especially in September, leading up to Ohio State. They need leave no doubt. Just leave no doubt. Take a step forward. You talk about who those guys are going to be, right? Who is going to be that duo or trio of guys that represent Notre Dame football? Sam Hartman could be one.
Definitely, Sam Hartman can be one, just because of the hype and the hole that was needed to be filled. Not hole, but what the other half glass full needed. We was half glass full. We need to get that other half because we was half empty too.
Yeah, no doubt. So offensive line projects to be more experienced and much better and more solid from the jump, barring injuries. With the Jared Patterson injury, he was just coming back. So this is his first game back. Physically, I'm cool with him not being able to do certain things,
Yeah,
right? Reset the line of scrimmage, get a push, dealing with that ankle. But the mental mistakes as a captain at the key moments of the game, that we can't have. Like this is the off season where this program, they need to become a team, not just a roster of talented players. They need to become a team and set the tone for this program moving forward because that's ultimately what wins more big games than anything. Like playing together as a team and playing complementary football. That's why we said just getting Sam Hartman, yeah, that's great. But what are you going to do defensively to complement that?
yeah,
Right? Oh, we're going to score at least 5 to 7 more points a game. Okay, that's cool. Are you about to hold teams to 3 to 5 points less? Are you about to hold teams to 15 to 20 yards less rushing the ball?
yeah.
Are you going to become better at third down percentage on defense to get teams off the field, get the ball back to that offense so you can wear teams down? Complementary football. And this is the next step that Notre Dame has to take. And it's questionable because they're losing senior leadership on the defensive line. But they have guys. Riley Mills made plays. He made plays. He made a play in the BYU game. He made plays in this game. He made get plays in the Gator Bowl. Riley Mills is going to make plays for you, right? Do you continue to just leave him on the interior, especially with the speed guys like Burnham, Sneed, Botello, and all of the speed that you have coming off the edge? Even if you move Junior and Maris out there, just let Riley learn how to play next to Howard Cross. That's it. That's you. Do
Yeah,
you lock that down? Now you have depth. You have Gabriel Rubio backing him up, Tyson Ford, Jason Onye, so on and so forth, right? Then you start bringing in freshmen like Devin Houston and some of the other guys. Safety position will be, in my opinion, the biggest upgrade defensively.
the safety position, really.
Yes, yes, because let me tell you something, man. Ramon Henderson and Xavier Watts fly around the field.
That's true.
They fly around the field. If they can just become
Okay,
a,
you
if they
mean
can,
they'll have better production because Xavier played last year. You mean they'll have more impact this
yeah,
year?
more impact. If they can become assignment sound, and this we can say this about the linebackers and the safeties. If the linebackers and the safeties for Notre Dame become assignment sound, this defense is definitely going to be better than it was last year.
Hmm.
That's it. Just because assignment sound football, right? If Maris in the biggest game, in the biggest moment in the fourth quarter, what beat Notre Dame is that they had a third down play and they had two players that weren't assignment sound. And it was a simple play that Marshall ran. It wasn't anything exotic. It was a simple play that I'm sure they've seen over and over again in practice because Notre Dame runs the same play with Michael Mayer.
Yeah,
And their inability to be assignment sound lost them that ability to get the ball back to their offense on a short field to win the game and go up double digits. It was simple as that. It was really as simple as that. And
that's
that's the
true.
frustrating thing. That's the frustrating thing. As much as we talk about Tommy, Tommy was ultra aggressive in this game.
Yeah,
They took 6 big shots in the first half. Buckner he was inaccurate.
just inaccurate.
He was inaccurate. He was inaccurate. And Roger Blackman, to an extent, Left, you could talk to this. He said that's coaching. To an extent, I agree. And then to another extent, come on, man. This is like parenting. You can talk to you blue in the face and tell somebody, don't do this. Don't do this. When you see this, go the other way. That was the first rule. Like when I went out, my father was like, son, when you see a crowd going in one direction, you go the other way. That was the first rule. What do you think I did the first time that happened to me? Man, what's going on over there?
Yeah, got the look in.
Got to look. Dude, you can coach people up all you want to, bro. You don't think Joseph Assad was coached up for that situation on Sunday?
Oh no, he was. He
You
just
know he was. Sometimes you have to lay blame at the feet of the individuals whose job it is to execute, man. And
yeah.
knowing who your guy is on a play, you're man to man on the tight end. That's not coaching. Because when he came in motion, you followed him. So you knew
He
that was your
followed
man.
him. He was trying to say that he was trying to get him to. He was trying to push him out of bounds to not allow him to get forward progress, so the time would keep ticking. I'm like, either you're a rocket scientist for thinking something like that in the moment, or you just messed up. Just say
That
you
was,
messed
you know
up.
what though? That's a really darn good answer
It
though.
sounds really freaking smart. But listen, I'm not going for that because you just didn't pull it off. It's the same thing as like that wasn't the play design, but you scored a touchdown, so I'm gonna be happy like that was the play design.
Mm-hmm.
But if you didn't do it right, I'm cussing you out. That's the same thing. It's like, yeah, that sounds really good because if you did it, we would have called you Einstein. But the explanation after it didn't go right, you lost us the game. You can't do that. You can't do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Look. Let me tell you something. That play just symbolizes, like, because we can sit up here and talk about Laurinaitis. We can sit up here and talk about Al Golden. At some point, look. At some point, coaching can either improve you or it can just cover up who you are for a moment. That's all good coaching can do.
Yeah,
Good coaching either taps in to greatness and the players take off, or it covers up just momentarily the weaknesses until you see that player just doesn't have it for whatever reason.
yeah,
That's it. That's it. And all players make mistakes. You just can't afford to make mistakes at the most important moments. That's when you have to lock in. And when Notre Dame had the opportunity to lock in, once again, this is what we said yesterday and what we're going to continue to say. It's one thing to look at this roster, to look at the recruiting stars and say, yo, this is a good team. It's an entirely different thing to sit there and say, this is a this is a good roster. I mean, it's an entirely different thing to sit there and say, oh, this is a good team. It's two totally different things. And it took Notre Dame a long time to become a good team this year.
yeah.
2023, they need to become a good team by the time they leave spring football. By the time they leave spring football, mentally, they need to say, oh, we know what we got. We come back in the fall, we're locked in. We're ready to go. That's the same thing you said when you guys came out of that Music City Bowl. By the time you guys got through with winter workouts and went to the summer, everybody decided to stay. Like, we're not going anywhere. Like, we know what we got. No. Everybody's staying here.
Everybody's staying here. That's right.
Everybody's staying here. We're going to lock in. And that's when that 2015 team became a team, and it's the same mindset that this team is they're going to have to take on that type of mindset and become player driven in that locker room. Lucky Lefty podcast. Apple Podcast, Spotify. CFB Nation in conjunction with Irish Breakdown, we spin it different. Left. I think I see what Notre Dame is trying to do, bro. I might be wrong. I'm just taking a guess. Taking a guess. Because there might be some recognition that they might need to change the way they approach recruiting. Now, LL
Really?
Nation, just stay with me. Just stay with me a little bit. Instead of trying to compete with Georgia and Alabama, why not just spank everybody behind you? You understand what I'm saying? The best
Okay.
player
Let's
that
see.
the best player that Penn State would get them.
Mm,
The best player that Michigan would get them. The
mm.
best player that Oregon would snatch them. Like, stop. We're not chasing them, right? Because if you're a kid from Georgia and you're a 5-star, more than likely, you're gonna go to Georgia, Alabama. We could jump in the fight, right? Notre Dame's going after a really talented kid at wide receiver, uh, Ted Moore. We did his film yesterday on the recruiting show. This is fantastic. This dude is like mini T. Higgins, like right now, just mossing cats, like one handed all over the place.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, snatch him. He's right now, he's a 3-star left. Nobody's really on him, but he comes from a private Catholic school in Tampa.
Mm.
You get on him, he's going to be a 4-star, right?
You're gonna be
Just
a
like
four
Notre, just
star.
like Mike Mickens got on your boy Carson Hobbs from Archbishop in Ohio. All of a sudden, he's a 4-star. Guess what's about to happen? Alabama's about to come and offer.
You know
Georgia's
it.
about to come and offer, right? But this is a kid that more than likely probably would have gone to Cincinnati, right? Because that's the
Mm.
school that was really on. So that's what I'm saying, right? Every now and then, if you are really in position to grab a Justin Scott, like he's in your backyard, okay, now you're in position to grab a 5-star. You're in position to grab a CJ Carr. You're in position to grab another guy that's going to end up being a 5-star and wide receiver Cam Williams. That's in your backyard. Snatch those. But instead of really giving a lot of energy to guys that you know more than likely aren't leaving the South, look, we're just going to spank Penn State, Tennessee, and all these other teams that are trying to be on our level. Go snatch a Caleb Beasley. I know he's committed to Tennessee right now. Stay
Mm.
on him. Stay on
Stay
him.
on them.
Because Tennessee's going to have to prove it 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
They're going to have to prove it with Joe Milton.
They definitely gonna have to.
They're going to have to prove that they can go to a big time bowl and win. See, if Tennessee backslides to like
It's
4 or 5
over.
losses, now, see, stay on them. Stay on Caleb Beasley. He was at the Irish Invasion, has a great relationship with Mike Mickens and Marcus Freeman, loves Notre Dame. They went to his basketball game recently. He tweeted it out. So obviously, yo, Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman have an effect.
Yeah.
Stay on them. Because I'm not sold on Josh Heupel in that program quite yet.
You're not
From
sold on it.
from a consistency standpoint. See, I'm not
Okay.
sold on Joe Milton.
Joe Milton did flash, but is he gonna stick? That's the question.
Big arm.
A little
But
all
is
over the
he that
place.
dude? Is he that dude? Will their defense be the same? They lose a lot on defense. Will the defense be the same? They lose Jalen Hyatt, right? Who's taking the top off? I think Tillman's coming back, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm just saying, from a recruiting standpoint, this is just me talking. I haven't gotten this from anyone close to the program or anything. I just think we're seeing a lot of offers go out. Like Notre Dame's offering a lot of kids, right? And the kids they're offering, it's almost like they're trying to the Boston colleges. Now, all the kids that will be the top in all these, Boston colleges program, Arizona's program, Arizona State's program, the kid that'll be the top kid in UCLA's program. Notre Dame is like, y'all not getting them. We're snatching all of them. See, we're gonna get the best players or the best recruits from the other teams, and we're just gonna compile them all on our roster, and then we're gonna sprinkle in 5 stars that we have great relationship with, and that's how we're gonna close this along with great quarterback play. It's an interesting strategy. It really is. It really is. There's like a kid like Caleb Brewer who left, and you watch his film. This dude, Ryan Roberts interviewed him, and kid is like, man, I'm a junior, and I wrestle, so I have to get down the weight after football season. During football season, I have to put in extra work because I balloon. Like, man, I had to put in work to get down to 290 for wrestling after the football season. It's like now when wrestling season is over, like, man, I know I'm going into my senior year 300 pounds. I'm like, okay, you're a natural mauler, dude.
Mm.
But you know what? This dude plays tight end left. Like when I saw this dude like running the over route as a tight end and running after the catch, I'm like, okay. Loves Notre Dame, right? Notre Dame was his first offer, his first text. This is what I'm talking about. This is what it made me think about. He's like, Notre Dame was my first text,
The
right?
first one?
Everybody knows about Peter Jones. Everybody knows about Gerby Lambert, the big time 5-star potential kids at tackle. But it's a kid like Caleb Brewer that would end up being one of the best offensive linemen in a class for Penn State.
Mm.
He's from Wyomissing, Pennsylvania,
Why I'm
and,
missing
and a class
Pennsylvania?
for Pitt. He said Virginia Tech has reached out, right? It's just very interesting the offers that are going out. If you really look at strategically what they might be doing, they've already established the Texas pipeline. They've established the St. Louis pipeline, right? They're planting the flag in Chicago this year. Tommy is spending more time in Chicago than ever. So they have their pipelines. They have an Ohio pipeline now.
That's
The
right.
schools they go to and they're getting players from Ohio now. They have a Michigan pipeline where they're getting players from Michigan, right? So now that they have that pipeline, now they can go attack 1, 2, maybe 3 5 stars every year and just focus on them. Like, yo, these are the 5 stars we're going after. We're going to make sure the middle of this roster is boss because everybody that's on the middle of this roster is one of the top prospects from schools like Pitt, Penn State. Like, we're taking the best from the classes of other programs and bringing them into our program. And that's going to be the middle of our roster. And then we're going to go out and get the elite guys from our pipelines. And that's how we build a complete team to be able to compete. But Alabama, Georgia, because you can't line up year after year and try to go after the same 10 5 stars that Alabama and Georgia are competing against, along with Ohio State, and think to yourself, okay, man, we're going to get 2 of these. You can't. It's a flawed strategy.
Yeah.
You have to be able to pick and choose your battles and your fights in those areas, And Notre Dame is, and this is me just hypothesizing basically from what I've seen. This is what Notre Dame, in my opinion, seems to be trying to do from a recruiting standpoint. It's not so much trying to live up to what's in front of them, but really trying to dominate everybody that's either right beneath them or on the same level in recruiting. Right? That's one way to elevate yourself. I'm not going to chase them. I'm going to dominate everybody that's on my level
That's right.
and beneath me. And then I'll get above them. And the next thing you know, I'm right there with Georgia and Alabama because I have difference makers at the most important positions. Your thoughts on that strategy?
Yeah, I
Is it a
think that's
winning
the
strategy?
perfect way to go because that way it allows you to just think more streamlined. And I think that's what we want to get to. We want to be a streamlined team that is clear on our vision, not only what we speak, but how we go about, managing a team with a roster that's explosive in a lot of sense.
Hmm.
But it takes a delicate process on putting it together, and I think we in position for that.
And it's always interesting to see what can be done, moves can be made. But I think what Notre Dame is signaling is that they're not about to get caught up in the hype of we have to be like Alabama, we have to be like Georgia.
That's
You
right.
don't have to be like them, you have to beat them.
Now there is such thing though, I would say, is matching the style. Like I
Yeah.
think Ohio State has to fit the style that now Michigan runs the Big Ten with,
Isn't that,
and
don't you
then
think
build
that's
off.
dangerous? Long run for them?
Say again.
If they do that just to get out of the Big Ten, how does that set them up in
Well,
matchups
matching the
against?
style in terms of like a key player, like Alabama changes the game and matches the style for the SEC by getting the best pass rusher because you need the best pass rusher in the
Mhm.
SEC to be dominant. For the Big Ten, you need a strong running game. So maybe, well, we already know that fitting that front seven, getting them another Chase Young, getting
Yeah.
them the threat of the D line up front is a couple players. It may not be the scheme or the entire defense, just a couple players that match what their the dominant style is offensively, which is running the football. Like a
So,
Micah Parsons. Get you a Micah Parsons.
I mean, I would like that. I'm sure everybody in the chat, Notre Dame fans, of course. Yeah, get a Micah Parsons into Notre Dame. They would love that. Here's TJ Moore, man, out of Tampa Catholic High School. And left, I'm just going to play it. I'm, I'm just going to play it. 6'3", 190, 3-star.
Mm. Who is this?
TJ Moore, Tampa Catholic, man. Three
See, he
star.
got that. He got that Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson body.
Mm.
He look about 6'1", 6'2".
No, he's 6'3", 190.
Oh yeah, he's athletic, not thin, athletically built. Jamar Chase is athletically built. He's not. He's skinny, but he ain't thin. He ain't Devontae Smith, and he's got enough juice and enough kick to him that natural ball catching ability where you can stay running one direction on the angle and trust your eyes and hands to reach around. Now, your eyes in the air, you looking up, running full speed. Trust your athleticism, not to turn your body. You know, a lot of high school kids want to turn their body and jump catch it. He has enough athleticism to stay on the run, trust his arms where the ball's going to be to catch it on the run and not get tackled. That's a natural pass catcher. You don't see that too often in high school. Aware where he is on the field, making a play through traffic, concentration to keep his feet in line and catch the football, extend to the highest point of the football. That's what you want to see. Good ball skills. I want people to pay attention to the fact that he's still on the run. He's not chopping his feet, slowing down. He's being able to bend and turn his body while still running full speed, fight for the football while running full speed, not slowing down and giving the defense his chest by turning around trying to fight for the football. He can turn his body, still run forward, turn his body if his ball's too far aside, just turn and catch. That's how you get yards after the catch. You can make a move because you still on the move. He didn't give up his body by turning towards the defender trying to catch it because a lot of our young receivers don't trust themselves to be able to do that at the same time. It's like walking and chewing gum. And a lot of guys can't do that. But the height's there, the size is there, and the confidence in the while the ball's in the air. Is he going to run by everybody? He doesn't need to. When you have range, athleticism, and natural ball skills, it's going to speak for themselves. You know, he's open when he's not open, and that's going to give a lot of trust to a lot of quarterbacks that are getting the ball out on time, anticipating, giving guys chances, trying to make plays. He's the guy that you want to do that for you because he's going to make something happen. He's got to know. He reminds me, he looks a lot like A.J. Mitchell that left Georgia and went to Texas.
Mm. A.D. Mitchell.
A.D. Mitchell. Let's say A.J. A.D. Mitchell. So I like the kid a lot, man. I think from what we ask him to do, you see again, he's not giving his chest to the football. He's just naturally turning and catching and continue to run. He probably has a bunch of yards after catch on the season because he's such a natural playmaker. And I'm telling you, to be able to have the cognizance to keep your feet in bounds, fight for the football, and extend at the highest point to catch it. Not too many high schoolers are doing that athletically or naturally. I think he has great football instinct for that. That's why it gives me a lot of Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase body type and playability because those guys are young and they in there like they're 8, 9 year vets making plays, making it happen, no matter who the quarterback is. So you can get in there and really make something happen.
Oh, T.J. Moore, man, Tampa Catholic. Um, Everybody knows Keon Keeley is from a private school in Tampa, and I think a lot of people found out about the Notre Dame brand because of that recruitment in that area. The Reader kid came to play baseball from that area as well. Both the Reader kids are in Notre Dame, so this is a guy. This is a guy, in my opinion. But once again, these are the type of offers that are going out. Another receiver from out your way that I'm going to show you that got offered on yesterday left. I mean, they're just offering really good kids, man. Really good kids that might not be high four, high five guys, but when you really look at them in their film, it's almost like, okay, this this is bananas. What we're looking at. I'm just showing you a little bit of your boy right here. We're gonna get to Caleb Brewer for a second, man, because I want Left to really understand what I'm saying about this kid. Look at him, Left. The dude's
Oh, what
almost
the hell?
290, fam.
What is this kid?
He's an offensive lineman, but he plays tight end as well.
Yeah, not I don't know about tight end. He'll be our special back.
No, Harry wants him to tackle, bro,
Yeah, yeah.
and he plays
See,
defensive
I don't
line
have
as
to
well.
watch something like this. The first three plays let me know he's athletic enough to
That's
be on
it.
that tackle. Yeah, it's like, yeah, man, you good with me. He's natural, but he's just way too big to be doing that. That's all. Like he's got some soft hands. You could tell he knows what he's doing, but he's just way too solid of a dude to be running around. He need to be moving things around, moving furniture. You know, like he's so big he can't work at T-Mobile stores. It just wouldn't make sense.
What does that mean, bro?
Like he shouldn't be working with small devices and phones and stuff. You know, you need to be on that forklift, construction, moving furniture, helping people move in their house and stuff. That type of job listing for your size. You 290, just big as hell.
So if you're saying if he's at Home Depot working a register, you'd be like, fam, should you be in the
Yeah,
back with
you
the
you in the
lumber or
wrong
something?
spot. You need to be personal training. You know, you fighting against what you naturally supposed to. Yeah, we had to have a talk, but he's definitely got the movement of a natural lineman. Hopefully, he doesn't lose that fluidity. You know, working on his little stuff. But man, I like the fact that that as a lineman, he put his receiver highlights on there first.
That was crazy, right? He let you know, oh, I can move the
If you
puppy.
need a guy, I'm the one to do the special touchdown.
You think he could talk Tommy and Harry into a package by the goal line?
Oh, he said, "Look at my first play. What you think of that?" You know.
But this is goes right along with what I'm saying. Guys like this, a Caleb Brewer, who other teams are getting on late. Notre Dame was on him early. He loves Notre Dame. If I'm not mistaken, he's going to be visiting um, in April. He's already locked in his visit, spring visit. This is the type of kid that will come on campus. Great relationship with Harry. He's standing the staff already. Notre Dame was his first text saying, "Man, we looking at you. We're going to offer you." He gets the offer. That's a kid you get. And then when everybody jumps on him later, it's like, "No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to Notre Dame." And now you get Peter Jones and him in the fold by the springtime, and then that's when you go after Gerby Lambert. That's when you
Mhm.
go get the dude that Alabama and Georgia and everybody else wants. Well, his teammate just came and signed with you last season, so you're already having inroad with him. He loves Harry Heastand, loves the staff. That's how you have to build a program. That's how you have to build a team and a roster that's capable of having the right mentality and the talent to be the Alabama or Georgia. So the offensive side of the ball is a little bit further ahead recruiting this year. Last year was the defensive side of the ball that was further ahead. So defense is going to have to step it up from a recruiting standpoint. And a lot of people, upset about James Laurinaitis leaving. You know, he was just really beginning to make his mark on the recruiting trail. As we said yesterday, I think it was calculated by Ryan Day to not only get a James Laurinaitis on their staff, but to also put Notre Dame in a difficult position recruiting wise when he had built up relationships with linebackers already, and then you go and take them. Yeah, it impacts Notre Dame. It absolutely impacts Notre Dame. So the tip of the cap. That's a nice chess move by Ryan
Yeah,
Day.
definitely, for
Doesn't
sure.
change what's going to happen when you walk into Notre Dame Stadium next year. That's a heck of a chess move. All right, left. Let's get to some of these super chats so we can get out of here, bro. Jay Carr. You think Zoe gets 50 receptions if Buckner plays the entire season? Yeah, he had 8 in the first 2 games. Yeah,
Yeah, 50 receptions.
yeah,
I think we'll have more receivers with more stats this year for sure.
yeah. Jason Hewlett, thank you for tapping in the super chat. Wilder versus Joshua, who you got? I do. Both of them are washed up, in my opinion.
Mm.
Yeah, the heavyweight division is just boring right now, bro. I guess who's the champ? Tyson Fury still?
I thought it was Tyson Fury.
Yeah, I don't know. Jason Hewlett, another one. Nah. Who would I want to see Notre Dame play for the chip? Left, you got somebody?
LSU or Bama. I think it would be great to see us play a SEC team for the chip.
If there was ever a year to play Bama, it might be next year. Defense is probably going to be much better. I just don't know what they're going to do offensively. I think offensively they're going to be really young and inexperienced. But we'll see. We will see. I would love to play Michigan in the title game. I
I
absolutely
just don't
would.
think. I just don't think Michigan is a better team than us when it matters.
But they're going to keep beating Ohio State until Ryan Day gets a clue.
That's true. We can count on that. That for a fact.
Until he gets a clue, that's what's going to happen. Doma Wop, thank you, sir. I hope this is sorted. I don't want to be brought back to the stink house, especially now that we got no Michael Mayer air freshener. Hey, this is what we do each and every Monday, right? Because every game really gives you a picture in hindsight of what really was going on, but then it can tell you a lot about forecasting the future for Notre Dame and some of the players that flashed and some of the players that are going to be in those same positions moving forward. So, like we said, the Marshall game was a clear sign that if Notre Dame, which goes back to not putting your freshmen out there just to make mistakes, make sure that they're assignment sound. So when they do take the field, they can play fast. Like when you know what you're doing, you're more than likely you're going to play faster, especially defensively. So there's something to think about. Lucky Lefty podcast. Left, pretty good show today. Thank you for everybody who tapped in. Greatly appreciate you once again. Apple Podcast, Spotify, CLB Nation, Irish Breakdown. You already know. We spin it different. You know what time it is.
Petticoat, petticoat, petticoat junction.
It's time to get petty
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
and fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty history? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, Petty Stories of the Day brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. LeBron James and Anthony Davis. But nothing wrong with y'all, man. You got a matchup against the Brooklyn Nets. And both of y'all have to sit out?
Yeah,
Both?
Yeah.
LeBron, your heart is still hurt about the no call the other night.
Here we go.
Is that what it is? Your
Come
psyche's
on.
injured? You mentally weren't ready to play? AD, we already know you made a straw. So,
Why'd you say that?
what are we talking about? Really?
Look, it's a
Kids
long
pay
season.
all this money.
It's a
They
long
see
season.
Brooklyn and Lakers on the moniker. They only get one opportunity to see West Coast teams come play on the East Coast. And both of these dudes sit out? That left, I'm sorry. Unless they had a pulled hamstring or they just couldn't go, that's ridiculous. I don't want to hear nothing about hips, knee soreness. Man, stop. As much as everyone lauds LeBron about how he takes care of his body and how he does what he does at his age, don't ever put the word soreness next to LeBron James for a reason that he's out. You better
Wait,
put
what?
you better put pull, strain, or
Wait,
something.
what?
Sore?
Yeah,
Really, dude? Sore? You're sore?
Yeah.
4. Okay.
You know, man, listen to you, Shaun.
Dude, he's
The
the
man,
face
the
of the
man,
league.
the man ain't Superman. The
He's
man
the
great,
face of the
better than
league.
Jordan, but he ain't
Hold on.
Superman.
It'd be different if this was Charlotte. This is New York, fam. You're playing in New York.
Is New York slated to win the whole thing? No, they're not.
Who's
So
that?
it's not like he's playing against Golden State. He played against Golden State. He got up for that.
And he played against Boston, which is
And he played against Boston,
another big
a team
market
that could
team.
potentially win it all. He ain't
So
thinking about.
wait
He
a
don't care
minute.
about no
So
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn can't win it with KD?
KD wasn't playing.
You just asked me if Brooklyn could be a contender. Can Brooklyn win the East with KD?
Potentially, but that's not tonight. They
Okay,
wasn't
that's
winning it
it.
that night.
No, that's it. That's it. All I'm saying is one of the two should have played. That's all I'm saying. One of their stars played,
Yeah, because Kyrie trying to play get money back.
and AD at this point needs to get his respect back.
He ain't lose it.
Oh, come on.
It's not
Stop.
his fault he get hurt.
Come on.
It's his
Stop.
fault he gets hurt.
That's my boy from Chicago.
Is it his fault though that he gets hurt?
Man,
See,
that dude is like he's like your grandmama's candy, peanut brittle. I'm sorry, bro. It is what it is. It is what it is. That's dude. Put them both on the petty train. And the Lakers. Figure that out.
and the Lakers.
Yeah, figure that out. Figure that out. We'll see you guys tomorrow for another great show. Left, he can't be open and objective when it comes to LeBron James.
I am.
We'll talk to y'all tomorrow. We'll have a special guest for you. Lucky Lefty podcast. This dude, man. Spin it different today.